Hello again and welcome to another Nick Beck's Watch Reviews. Before I review my new Seiko, I'd just like to say thank you to all my existing subscribers. Thank you to all my new subscribers and all the great feedback I'm still getting, and the conversations we have are fantastic. It kind of really enthuses me. So yeah, I'm really chuffed. Thanks everybody, and anybody that bothers to watch my short videos all the way to the end. I'm very grateful to you. So thanks. Anyway, moving on, I'd like to review my new Seiko Quartz chronograph. As you can see here, it's a SSB271P1. That's the reference code or model number. It's water resistant 100 meters, and it has a typical Hardlex Seiko crystal. The watch itself is all stainless steel with a black sunburst dial and the chronograph features, with a calf leather strap with a buckle. And without further ado, let me show you the watch a bit closer and tell you what I like about it and if there's anything I don't like about it. So here we have the Seiko. As I say, it's there we go. It's a 100 meter waterproof Seiko Quartz chronograph. I'm told the battery, obviously depending on the amount of usage with the chronograph, should last 2 to 3 years, which is pretty good, I think. The watch itself I purchased from Amazon. It cost me approximately £110, and considering the quality and the brand name, I think that's it's a pretty good watch for that money. And the quality, I think, is very, very nice. It's nicely finished. So what you have here, you have the Seiko applied logo with chronograph 100M or 100 meters, the date complication with a white frame around it on the black dial. The dial itself is a sunburst black dial, and it's actually quite difficult to kind of pick it up in this light, but it's got a kind of like a satin finish sunburst. Kind of reminds me a bit of a tarmac almost, which is, kind of suited because it's a racing watch. You have the white hands, and they kind of remind me a bit of a hypodermic needles with a long kind of shaft and then a thin point. And then the second hand of the chronograph is a long, very, very narrow pointed arrow, I guess. You have the top subdial is the minutes, the right subdial is the hours, and just underneath there, the bottom dial going down to the 6 is the small second hand when the watch is actually working. I've actually pulled the crown out at the moment because I want to show you how it works and what it does. So you have the crown and one click, which I believe it's already out. Actually, it's already out 2 clicks. So if I just push it in, pull it out 1 click, you can change the date on the date wheel there. And I'm going to actually change it all the way around back to the 14th because I'll forget, and then I'll probably think there's something wrong with my new watch. And then you pull the full crown out to 2 clicks, and that moves the hands. So like I say, everything on the dial is in white, and it does stand out, and it does have a terrific loom, and I will show you some loom shots if I can manage that a bit later on. So as I say, most of the case is brushed, and there's a few kind of edges that are polished to give it a kind of 3D look, I guess. What I like about it is a particular feature, the way the case bezel top fits inside the shoulders, so it's kind of recessed, and there's a groove just up here, so it kind of fits in there, and I guess that kind of protects the bezel a little. And then you have the push pins for the chronograph with kind of like caps on them, and they're quite tactile, and they're very, it's quite a sort of satisfying push, if you like. So to start the stopwatch, you simply just push the top button and off goes the big sweeper second hand. and obviously it will count the minutes and count the hours as it progresses. And stop it, exactly the same button, and then to reset, and it's a really kind of sharp, quick reset, and it goes back to the 12 o'clock position. So looking around the case, like I say, most of the case is polished, is brushed with a few polished edges just to kind of give it that little bit of texture and a little bit of variety there. The top of the crown is polished, whereas the push pins are actually brushed. And the crown I love. I think it's a really nice crown. It's not too big, and it kind of blends in really nicely with the style of the watch. And if you look at the dial now on the small second hand, you can see that kind of sunburst effect there. So that's a really nice feature. I really like that retro style chronograph, if you like. So moving on, we have a black textured calf leather strap. And I'll just unclip that there. You can see the Seiko logo on the buckle, and the buckle's brushed. And on the back there, let's just turn it up the right way. You can see 22 for the size of the lugs, and Seiko calf. The case itself is 45mm, but I do think that actually includes the crown, because it doesn't wear like a bigger watch. Actually, I've got fairly small wrists, and it wears really comfortably. And I think the way the lugs are kind of curved help that a great deal. And I'll show you some wrist shots in a minute. So as I say, flipping over, you have a brushed and polished screw down case back, and with Seiko 100-meter waterproof, and the kind of serial numbers and whatnot on the back there. So what I'll do is I will show you, if I just show you a bit of a close-up of the strap, you can see the texture. And let me show you some wrist shots. And there you go, that's the case, or the Seiko watch on my wrist. Like I say, I've got fairly small wrists, and if it's a 45mm case without the crown, it doesn't fit like that. So I am assuming it must be with the crown included. I mean, please, if you do know, please comment at the bottom of the page. That'll be a great help. And you can see the kind of very crisp white stitching on the black leather strap. I've got to say, I actually bought this watch with the original intention of swapping the strap over and putting a rally type leather strap on there, and maybe even a butterfly clasp. But when I took it out the box and touched the strap and kind of felt it, it's really, really soft, and it's kind of almost like butter. It's so comfortable. It's a really lovely strap. It's a really nice, good quality leather. The watch itself isn't heavy, but it feels substantial and solid. And I kind of really like that. I like to know that it's, I've said it before in other videos, that I'm getting my money's worth, and it feels like a bit of quality. And the best way I can put it, if you pick up a pebble on the beach and kind of cup it in your hand, you kind of feel that solidness, but it's not ridiculously heavy that it's drags on your wrist. So yeah, that's the best way for me to describe it anyway. There isn't actually anything I don't like about the watch. I would have thought the strap would have been a disappointment, but it was actually, I'm really chuffed with the strap. The legibility with the black and white is superb, and it's kind of almost gives you like a field watch look, but it's it's more retro chronograph. So what I'm going to do now is, if I just move it back a little bit to give you a sort of different angles on the wrist there, just so you can see it. It fits my wrist really comfortably, and I've actually worn this watch now on and off for a couple of weeks, and within sort of 5 minutes of putting it on, I can't feel it there. It's really, really comfortable. And every now and again I kind of glance at it, because I'm really impressed and I really love it. So right, what I'm going to try and do now is see if I can do some loom shots for you, and that's one of the really impressive parts of this watch. So let's see if I can. There we go. It's not very easy in this light because the room isn't very dark, but you can probably see that it's got a kind of almost like a minty green loom. And maybe if I just kind of put my hand, there we go. If I put my hand over the top, there we go. That's quite effective, and you can see where I'm coming from. And I'm really impressed with that. It sits in a case at the bottom of the bed on my dressing table, and it literally it's so bright it stops me from bumping into things as I get up in the night or whatever in the dark. So yeah, I'm really quite impressed with the loom on that. It's typical of Seiko. Seiko seems to have got it nailed when it comes to loom. I mean, I'm always kind of saying to my brother, my brother has some very expensive watches. He's very into Panerai and IWC, and they have fabulous loom. And I always say, but for £100 ish, I can beat that with a loom on my Seikos. And I don't think I've ever had a Seiko that didn't have this excellent loom. So there you go. That's the new Seiko Quartz chronograph. So if there's anything you want to know about it, like I say, I'll try and help you. And kind of that's probably it for me for now until I buy the next watch. And yeah, there you go. So thanks again for watching. Thanks for all your kind comments and everything. And I'll see you again with another watch probably. Thanks for watching.